So what I search my life to do, yeah, yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
We out west with it, where we live illegal, leaning off a leader, riding regal, tipping scales like Libras. Inhale, no L's, pulling out blocks like Jenga. In the rear of a Caprices, Billy Rims, flicking decent nonetheless. Nothing less than tens for the speakers. You'll hear us before you see us with beats that beat the streets up. Yeah. So try and keep up and keep it low key, cuz police try and treat us and keep us on a leash, cuz that's how they see us, thinking we nuts. Cuz we'll die for the ground beneath us, because this land stay on paper, that's how we came up amongst the mayhem to the day when we display what we made of. The game can never change us, the west side teaches. On these streets where you find that D before G. We out west with it, back down, trying to flip a dollar. If you looking, then we got it, you just got up in a block. We out west with it, riding clean, wetter than the sea. On the scene with a full tank, blowing AC. We out west with it, I'm posted, let me know what y'all on. Cause if y'all get on something, then just hit my phone. We out west with it, yes sir. Hustle for every penny in the trenches, but we turn struggle into strength. Smell the grind in the air, take a whiff. Only the nose knows the aroma. Compose the money rolls that fold up, holding cold cups. Searching for those that got the purple O's for the $4. And we could go nuts and stay at the stove like gross us, and post up with O's on the table like coasters. It's how the game coached us, made us all in the soldiers. Now that dough is the focus, so know that we own this. Molded by the hood role models, riding good, the latest model, drinking good, raising bottles like we just missed a pothole. You got to know that it's impossible to stop our flow. We've seen it all from watching cops reload 30s a dro while drinking the night away until the block got slow. You'll know as soon as you see us, we the ones laid back in the cut. My demeanor seems to always give me up. We out west with it, back down, trying to flip a dollar. If you looking, then we got it, you just got up in a block. We out west with it, riding clean, wetter than the sea. On the scene with a full tank, blowing AC. We out west with it, I'm posted, let me know what y'all on. Cause if y'all get on something, then just hit my phone. We out west with it, yes sir. Hustle for every penny in the trenches, but we turn struggle into strength. Yeah, home of the survivor, survival of the fittest in the town. It's wicked, you can J down in a minute. What am? What's the business? The biz is how you down and get it. From Cape Town, the fifth city that sounds the fifth's empty. When we tipsy, it's risky. Where the lick be, at least 10 deep, it tempts me. But there's no mystery where the chips be, the tips G. Just our history from the 60s. Pimping ain't easy, but we bleed it. This here game is in our veins, in the air we breathe in. Believe this, it's no game, but the key is your mouthpiece fit your game. But believe, turn nothing into something. We suffer without supper long enough. Struggling from summer to summer, the same place where the dope is sold. It's home to the Oprah show, the same place I know is home. We out west with it, back down, trying to flip a dollar. If you looking, then we got it, you just got up in a block. We out west with it, riding clean, wetter than the sea. On the scene with a full tank, blowing AC. We out west with it, I'm posted, let me know what y'all on. Cause if y'all get on something, then just hit my phone. We out west with it, yes sir. Hustle for every penny in the trenches, but we turn struggle into
notice. The Entourage DJs are taking over the game. The Midwest invasion is here, and the true Midwest mixtape king is giving it to you. It's DJ G-Spot banging your mixtapes right now.
You are now listening to the Mixtape. DJ G-Spot and Mick Lou, Chi-Town's finest. It's definitely representing South Side, West Side, stand up.
Yeah, they honor my persona. See my coat of arms, cloaked in armor. Live and die by the code of honor. The honorable, known as Mick the Conqueror. My mantra is that of a monster. My vengeance is endless until you extinct like a condor. What you think I was armed for? I'm knocking at harm's door. Molded by the force, call me the Black Mamba. I'm putting up numbers like Kobe in the garden. My thought fears, thoughtless as I talk shit, and there's nothing as heartless as my heart lies deeper than the darkness that dwells where the sharks live. You sleeping with the fishies, I'm surfing with the marlins. On the surface, I'll unleash the carnage till you surf till you starving, searching for a market. I'm the pit boss, tally up your losses. Your fate is sealed way before the card flips. You marks ain't shit. Topic of discussion, they ain't talking about nothing. Keep their noses in the sump, y'all ain't talking about shit. I hear them wolfing in the whispers, snakes in the grass. We ain't thinking about your ass, y'all ain't talking about shit. Fucking lying, I ain't buying, ain't nobody even trying to hear that dumb shit you kick. Y'all ain't talking about shit. Find yourself some business, get yourself a life, and shit that'll motherfucker. Y'all ain't talking about shit. Unlike the players, y'all engage in betrayal. So brave, do anything for the day they can slay you. So devious, even if you can't even see the hate. I don't need to plead my case till you please, I seize the day. Feast off your mistakes from the cleanest of plates. Palate of a pharaoh, it's all seasoned to taste. A vision of perfection, at least 3 in my face. Fanning me with feathers, tease me with grace. I can't conceive defeat, nor will I concede the race to these conceited lames that can't believe my pace. So intrigued by my intriguing display that intrigues the brain, there's nothing left to say. Hands down, I lure them to attack like Cassius. The allure of a champion with my banner in the rafters. Topic of discussion, they ain't talking about nothing. Keep their noses in the sump, y'all ain't talking about.
Dr. Mindbender behind the boards. Custom, ain't no heroes or role models where I'm from for us to follow where I'm from. Just some niggas throwing gang signs and hollows where I'm from. They pop pills, sip lean, and bless bottles where I'm from. If you still ain't figured it out, nigga, Chicago where I'm from. Home of some of the most notable women and men to exist. But the only stars niggas on their heads, the fan and the 6. Most of us settle, however some intend to get rich. We lose homies and hit the internet to pretend that they miss. We spend link at the corner store, and motherfucker ain't gotta be enlisted in no army or Marine Corps to be going to war. It's gun smoke in the air, and it's blood stains on the floor. We all born poor, but yet and still we feel we born to soar. The beautiful struggle, bodies left blood oozing in puddles. We love to hate like a poisonous dart from Cupid then struck you. Shit, you stupid as fuck if you let the stupid instruct you. Should be using your muscle to build a lucrative hustle. Crabs in a bucket, so when one make it feel like we all did. From the county to Stateville, long stretches and small bids. The clucks chasing they last high. The shorties throw up middle fingers when the low pass by. They ask why we live this way. You couldn't overstand it unless you had to. Faggot police harass you, so-called homies will blast you. Her message to out of towners written in blood. Don't take your dumb ass to the hood if you ain't plugged.
Spit with the curse of Capone. You gotta live with all the words you condone, then it's on. They'll kill you dead, then bring the hearse to your home. Back in my shorty days, niggas will put a 40 to your sporting waves. Nowadays, these niggas stugging on phones. How it's nice, I used to play for the Dome. Philly been killing. But when you ball, get you a gun, and be like Ben Wilson, a pin drilling. Fuck how out of towners view the shot. I'm out west where every conflict crucial is do or die. If it's war, it's gonna be to the death. It's you or I. I come at peace, but if you touch my body, that's suicide. And my bloodline is niggas that'll kill and move a pie. I got a QP and sold it to my mans at U of I. My pop told me, just get through high school, then you decide. In the shy, it's the 6 to the fan. Choose a side, move and slide. The city don't wanna see you with shit. From politicians to the preachers, hard to see who legit. Sell some seed for you to see green and piece you to fit. It's I am God and the God green who's seeing this shit. Let's go. If you think it's love here, then pump your brakes. This the wild onion, that dark ass city that love to hate.
Okay,
let's go.
Show off. I'm from a land where the texts go off. Them gang signs thrown and the heads broke off. We hate you niggas, cause we gave birth to you ungrateful niggas. So on the 6 feet of earth, it's where we place you niggas. It's barely a secret, we move shit, telekinesis. And box niggas like Chevy Caprices. My stress is post-traumatic. All I see is murders and massacres. Cancer patients and catheters. Fake narrators and savages. No horse and carriages. Just funerals, wakes. So stay alive, stay out the way of the unusual snakes. A beautiful place, Chi-Town's the greatest. That's why they hate us. But listen, nigga,
The message is clear. Let me pause, babe. You look so good. To gather my thoughts, make sure I'm hearing you right. Baby, slap my baby. If I am mistaken, 'cause love will be making. I can see it.
That's why we shine wherever we go. 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 Lord, Lord. Welcome to the mind of a pothead. On my head, see a young nigga got dressed. We don't give a fuck what the cop said. I'm living a legacy. So even when I die, I am not dead. Nigga, I am not dead. Fuck with me.
Good afternoon, people.
Great afternoon to you wonderful people. Welcome to this Wednesday edition of I Said What I Said. We are live from inside the What's In It for the Black People Media Studios alongside Toussaint Werner. My name is Howard. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 1 to 3 p.m. we get together right here with you guys and we discuss issues that are currently impacting the black community, how those issues impact us as individuals, but also how they impact us as a collective. And along with your help, we talk through many of these issues in hopes of finding the optimum solutions for how we can overcome said issues. Again, overcome them as individuals, but perhaps more importantly, overcome them as individuals. Thank you all so very, very much for choosing to be.
You messed up on your intro. Just want you to let you know that.
That's good. I'm glad to know you listen now.
I had to pay attention.
Yeah. I was just testing you, man.
Wait a minute. We got new additions.
Oh, we got
You see this?
we got WIIFTBP box thingies on the mic.
Yeah, WIIFTBP box thingies.
Box thingies.
Box thingies, man. We know we like box on I Said What I Said. Jesus.
Hollywood.
Hollywood.
I don't like this. Now I can't adjust it, though. That sucks booty.
You can adjust it. It's the same way, bro.
No,
You
it
can
won't go
still
down.
adjust it.
It won't go down any further.
Because it's all the way down, my bro.
Down. Yeah, that's
You can bend it down.
this one
You
comes
got your
down
seat
more.
down? Is your seat down?
Yes,
I
that's
don't like sitting way up in there like that.
You know what I'm saying? You can't fix his problems, G. Like, there's no way. Like,
Yes, bring the seat down, bring the mic down. I.e., I'm happy. It's very simple fix to this. Anyway, we're here to solve the problems of the collective. I don't know what the next line is, but if Herb feeds me the next line, I'll finish the intro.
thank y'all so very, very much for choosing to be a part of the conversation. As always,
Yeah. And that's how it goes.
as always, your opinion is valued and appreciated. Anything you add to the conversation, feel free to do so. We will read through as many of your comments as possible while we go through the show. We would kindly request you please take a quick second to share the broadcast. Don't break the box. Sometimes we try. Sometimes we give it our best shot at breaking the box. Yeah. Please share the broadcast. Share it in your personal page.
It's just going to be problematic.
Share it in your personal network. Absolutely anyone that you think would add value to this conversation or find value in this conversation, we welcome them to be a part of it because we believe that the more like-minded individuals we can get to be a part of it, the better the opportunities we have of reaching those aforementioned solutions for the collective. So please, if you will, be so kind and share the broadcast. Again, this is I Said What I Said. It is intellectual thuggery. Usually at its finest, sometimes at its most chaotic. Nonetheless, it's intellectual thuggery, and we appreciate y'all for being here. My name is Herb. His name is Two. What's happening, good brother?
What's up, family? I'm blessed and highly favored.
That's what I'm talking about, R.O. The box will be just fine.
You know,
Might walk
words of the,
might walk a little gingerly tomorrow.
In the words of the poet laureate Usher, that's what it's made for.
That's what it's made for.
You know what I mean?
Usher got a residency in Vegas.
Oh, look at Usher.
I might go out there and catch one of those. I don't know which hotel he's gonna be at or whatever, but he got a residency in Vegas that's gonna start at some point this year, and a lot of people are excited about that.
Yeah.
Where you got Usher at on your like solo male vocalist all time list? Is he on that? Is he top 10?
I don't have a solo male vocalist list.
So what would you say about people like like Joe Jack or the artist formerly
Joe
known
Jack?
as. That's what I call Michael Jackson. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Who the hell is Joe Jack?
His daddy.
I mean, I know it's Joe. I was like, damn, he got a singing career?
No, also like Michael Jackson, Prince, Big Luther, Teddy
Prince.
Pendergrass, Brian McKnight.
Prince is first. I don't really like Brian McKnight like that.
You are so disrespectful when it comes to 90s R&B.
Even regards to like ballads. I don't look at Mike like that. Like, that's not to say Mike don't have ballads.
Lady of My Life is my favorite Michael Jackson song.
He got ballads, but Mike is more of an entertainer. Right?
Agreed.
But
yeah, he's more Beyonce than say
Right.
like I don't know
Whitney
whoever.
Houston.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
So Prince is up there high, man. Luther's up there high. I mean, I like Usher, but
Got to be Big Luther G.
Hey, so when I was about 15, 16, right?
Uh-huh.
I had an opportunity to work for Burrell Public Relations. Right?
Yeah.
It was my summer job, but it was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So they would like fly me all over the country to do these projects called the Black Family Reunion.
Yeah.
Right. And Burrell Public Relations was probably the biggest black marketing firm at the time. Right. And I would go and basically doing these festivals and, like Tide, Quaker Oats, all those kind of companies were sponsoring it. And I basically unload trucks.
Procter & Gamble money.
Procter & Gamble money, right? So I unload trucks. Sometimes I had to walk around in costumes. Like I'd be Captain Crunch. I'd be Sunny Delight.
I'd be that.
Yeah, I'd be all those kind of things. How you
That's
get
what's up.
hair in the mic, G? That's so disrespectful.
It didn't come from Todd.
Yeah, that's so disrespectful. But anyway, man, I did one of those joints, and I think we was in either Philly or Indianapolis. Like, I know that's a big difference, but it was either one of them places, Philly or Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
And
That is a big difference. But when you're flying all around,
But I
it's
remember-
real easy to get discombobulated.
Hey,
like
let me
if
tell you something.
Even if you go on like a 3-city tour of anywhere, you be like, yo, I don't know where the fuck we
hey,
at no
let me
more.
tell you,
Like,
them summers, bro, for
Yeah.
like 3 years, I was living like a celebrity.
Yeah.
As a teenager, I'm in 5-star hotels. I'm
Yeah.
getting flown across the country. I got a pocket full of money.
Yeah.
And the celebrities attached to this conversation. So I met a bunch of celebrities. I was hanging with celebrities.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was the man. I was the man.
It's
I got hit what I thought was my first STD. And
I was just getting ready to say that it's an absolute miracle that you don't have a kid that's like 30 right now. Okay?
It wasn't an STD, to be clear, but I was scared to death. I'm gonna tell that story afterwards, right? But Usher was rocking with me for one of them summers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he was a nobody, so we was just kicking it.
He was a nobody, so we just kicked
I mean,
it.
he was a young boy, I was a young boy. So we was
Ain't
in all-
y'all like the same age?
Yeah, we was in all these cities just kicking. He probably a little bit younger than me, probably by a year or two.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
He's somewhere around there, but we just hung out a lot because there ain't much else to do. But it was a dope though.
You just dancing around and shit.
Put in perspective, like I had the opportunity to meet Dick Gregory.
Oh, that's
I had
what's
the
up.
opportunity to meet Dorothy Height. I met in Vogue. and I don't even mean like met. Like we stayed together for a summer, so we had built relationships. You know.
What would you like me to do with this camera manager, man? Because I can. Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You know what? Never mind.
Manager, man.
Do it on your own, fam. You're getting on my nerve.
With them gray Nike sock shoes on.
Sock shoes?
Yeah, them sock shoes.
Oh, they look comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cracking, man. So for them whole summers, it was a good deal. Had built some good relationships, made a lot of money, had fun. But yeah, one of them times, man, I got caught up in a bad situation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And invited a young lady back to the hotel. And it was always like maybe 3 or 4 of us that was like in our teenage years.
Sure.
But imagine being a teenager and having a 5-star hotel in a random city.
Is that what you wanted to do, my brother?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we was wilding, So I got up with somebody at one of them times. Imagine, like, even in the summers, like I used to stay at my grandmother's house. And my grandmother would go back to Kentucky for the whole summer. So I had my own crib for the whole summer in Chicago almost too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I come back from one of them trips and I'm feeling terrible, G. Like it's the worst feeling I ever had in my life. Now I just got with this little chick. So I'm in my head like, definitely got the HIV.
Definitely got the HIV.
Definitely got the HIV.
But I'm not a homosexual. Sure, you're not a homosexual.
This is not funny, but it's funny. Because this is just how young people think, right? So definitely got the
Definitely got the HIV.
HIV. Definitely got it, right?
100%.
100% got it. 100% right. And I'm scared to tell anybody.
Of course. You don't just offer that up.
Right?
I got the HIV.
So I'm getting sicker and sicker by the day. right? It's so bad.
You see the HIV commercials now?
No, I don't.
So
I ain't watched TV in a long time.
remember when Chris Rock used to have that joke on one of his stand-ups? I don't remember which one it was. It might have been like bigger, blacker, better. I don't know. But he was like, man, remember diseases like polio and shit? And he was like, we're gonna get to a day where, you know, HIV, you gonna have people walking around like, yeah, man, I can't come to the party, man. My HIV flaring up today. You know what I'm saying? He was like, and so now they got these commercials where that's really what it be like. They're like, they got this thing, it's Big Tarvy. And I had seen the ad, they rolled the ad out. I guess they thought it was brilliant. I thought it was kind of stupid, but they rolled the ad out real slow. And what I mean by that is you would see these Big Tarvy commercials, but they wouldn't say what it treated. It was like, hey, Big. It was like, now that I take my Big Tarvy, I can do this, that, and the third. But they wouldn't say what it was about. Now, in the second wave of their ads, I guess now they're saying what it's about. And so, like, yeah, you know, we can keep you at undetectable levels as long as you take your Big Tarvy daily. And so they're like, oh yeah, I can go outside now. And you know, when it's acting up and shit, I just, you know, it's like when your HIV is acting up.
Salute to them. I would have had some Big Tarvy back in the day if I knew. You know what I mean? Straight up. So look though. Definitely got the HIV, you know what I'm saying? I'm running around here like this shit. I'm about to die, right? Now, mind you, I'm dolo. My grandmama gone. My parents live on the other side of town.
And you about to die from AIDS.
And I'm going to die from AIDS. I'm in the house dying from AIDS every day. You know what I'm saying? Says, look at this. Wasted my whole life, 15. You know what I'm saying? I'm out of here, Joe. And it got so bad. Think about this. We 15-year-old boys. Right? It was so bad, G. That Boog and Fonz, like, these is my cousin. They live a couple blocks away from my grandmama. They would bring me soup. Like, dudes don't do no shit like that. You understand me? Like, he died, cuz. He died.
And not only is he dying, he's died from HIV.
Right. So
yeah, Q, you can reach non-detectable levels of HIV nowadays. What they mean by non-detectable levels is you cannot transmit it through sex. At least that's what Big Tarvy claims.
That's what Big Tarvy.
That's scary, man. Y'all got it's so people out here with HIV can be walking around thinking that today I'm good.
How do you deal with it?
I try to talk to two about. I
don't have sex with homeless people.
I try to talk to two about his problem every day to make sure he's encouraged. You know.
Oh, I appreciate it. Lift me up in prayer, my brother. Lift me up in prayer.
Ron, like, as long as I don't be fucking no homeless women, I should be straight.
But yeah, so
they bringing you soup, flowers and shit.
They bringing me soup and shit. Gee, they bringing me soup. They checking over me. It's ridiculous, right? Mm-hmm. So one day I wake up and I'm dying. I can't breathe. It's all bad, right? And I open my mouth. I'm in the mirror because my throat closing up. But what's
now you see one of those little sores on the inside of your jaw
like,
where you can bit your lip. You like, you don't finna fucking die.
Is this how HIV kill you? It's gonna choke me to death.
It's gonna choke me out.
So,
well, you know, HIV don't kill you.
So look, but listen,
right? It's like the common cold kills you because AIDS kills you.
Right.
Well, AIDS doesn't kill you. The common cold kills you because you have AIDS.
Right, immune deficiencies, right? So look, I'm in the mirror though, and I'm looking, trying to see down my throat, and I see these big white pus pockets in my throat.
Oh, that's it.
Like,
you gone.
I was like, oh, this is aggressive. This is like
what you had was mono, right?
I had HIV 10. You know what I'm saying? Like this was all bad.
HIV
you know what I'm saying?
10.
This is all bad. So it got to a point. I did one more night like that, right? And I was like, I can't do this. I
can't die in silence.
I just can't die in silence, right? So I called my daddy. I called my dad. I called my father. I was like, Daddy, I'm dying, man. This is a confession, right? This is about 2, 3 in the morning, right? I was like, I'm dying, Daddy. I don't know what's wrong with me.
I'm dying, Daddy.
But I'm definitely dying, Daddy. Something's wrong with me.
I'm definitely dying.
So look, this is how long ago this was. So he comes and gets me and takes me to the county, which was Stroger on the west side at the time. Right? So I go in the county, mind you, it's 4 in the morning or something.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's shooting victims coming through there. It's the county on the west side. It's when it was really
busting.
It's busting, right?
For sure.
It's shooting victims coming through there. It's some wild shit going on. So I'm sitting in the life. Oh man, this is how bogus my father is too. I done confessed that I'm about to die. This Negro drops me off and goes back home.
The fuck can I do? You about to die?
I ain't got time for this shit. I'm out of here. Go down there, nigga.
Right.
So
fucking up my night with this shit.
Yeah, I'm sitting in the county, waiting to get seen, man. And it's this little buzzard in there, G. This little chick has a jail tattoo on her leg that says "Too Freaky," right? We both sitting in the county. This is all true shit. This is none of it's fabricated. None of it, right? None of this is fabricated at all. So she sits down next to me and she's like, I ain't got no panties on.
Wow.
I said, shorty.
Do you know I got HIV?
We are in the emergency room and I have AIDS. What are you doing? Get away from me.
She like, me too. You can't do nothing to me. I can't do nothing to you.
It's over yours, right? It's crazy. It was absolutely
Water meets its level. You said all the time,
water
bro.
meets its level, G. None of it was fabricated, G. It was crazy, bro. It was crazy. So the doctors finally see me.
Oh my God.
Doctors finally see me and they tell me I got strep throat.
That's exactly what I was thinking. ROW.
Right.
You see what ROW hit?
What?
Too freaky.
None of that. That's not gonna work. But
that's exactly what I thought when you said it.
Well, the doctor was like, I got strep throat, and I had never had strep throat before, so I didn't have no understanding of how it felt. But check this, it gets worse. It keeps getting worse, G. The story keeps getting worse.
HIV doesn't get better unless you get Big Tarby.
So the doctor was like, "Oh, you good?" So they try to give me my Big Tarby, right? And they give me a shot in my butt. I've never had HIV before.
So this
is new here. I've
gotta
never
be
had
how they
it.
treat it.
It's gotta be how they treat it, right? So they give me a shot in my butt, G, and I'm thinking, okay, this shit should be clearing up. This here should be going away the next day.
Oh shit.
So I go back to my grandmama crib. And it's getting worse because I'm really dying now. And I'm like, man, something is wrong, bruh. I'm dead out here. My grandmother's neighbor was a nurse.
Okay.
And I was talking to her and I said, Miss Henderson, I got strep throat. This is what it is.
I thought you had mono.
But I can't, whatever they gave me is not helping me. This is getting worse. She was like, well, what did they do, baby? I was like, well, they gave me a shot in my butt.
It was this girl in Indianapolis and
she was like, no, you don't do that. That's not how you treat that. And I was like, what you mean that's not how you treat that? I'm ignorant. I don't know.
Sure.
Right? You know what I mean?
You just assume the doctors know.
I just assume the doctors know. And she went in the crib and went in her medicine cabinet and gave me some penicillin pills.
It was better than a few hours.
2 hours. I was like, boy, these dirty motherfuckers. But I thought I was dying. It was like a month.
That you thought you had here.
A month of strep throat, G. You could die. You legitimately could die.
Oh, sure.
Right? But I was so
afraid. A month of any type of virus infection to fucking kill you.
Gee, I was so afraid to tell anybody that I had the big dog. That I just sat in there and died. I was just gonna die. I was gonna die it off.
Just die in peace.
Yeah, I was gonna die it off, G. Like, fuck it. I had a good run. You know. I'm a die legend at 15. The neighborhood loves me. I've been off the porch since 7.
Oh my goodness gracious, dog. That's hilarious. Why have you never told me that story? That's hilarious.
It's crazy. I lived a whole lot of life, bro.
That is funny.
It was crazy.
Oh my goodness. I wonder what Salim's like STD stories are. He's had to have.
I'm not in this conversation, Salim. Don't put this on my jacket. This is all her.
All me, and as usual, all honor and respect to King Salim. But the man has been across the fucking world 17 times. He's catching at least something. Oh shit. Anyhow, that's funny.
Wow, bro, it's a wild scene.
I think we want to get into today, man. I know that everybody has discussed the Dante Wright case ad nauseum, including us briefly and everybody else across the network. We'll touch on that a little bit. I'm curious to see if your opinion has evolved on it at all. So we'll get into that a little bit later. There's also been a couple of other videos going around of just more just racist, white, stupid bullshit, man. And I don't get it, man. That's a lie. I do get it. But damn though, like young black dude walking through the community, some army sergeant lieutenant dude think he big swole white guys telling him to get the fuck out the you're in the wrong fucking neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Just cause Shorty's just walking. You know what I'm saying? There's another video of something. I know you sent me a couple other things and I sent you a couple things. We just more of that kind of bullshit. I went down this fucking Titanic rabbit hole, G. Like the Titanic, the fucking ship. And I don't know why. It wasn't on like YouTube. It was on TV. And they were playing like back to back to back Titanic specials about like what happened. So I'm watching this thing and I just want to tell y'all some of the wild shit that they discovered or exposed or uncovered about the Titanic sinking. Because I know you don't give a fuck because 1,500 white people died. So I know what you're going to say. Okay? But
Save yourself!
But it was some interesting shit in there. And then also, Maze, in an attempt to merely promote the new lineup this morning on the Maze Jackson show, went down a Iz Wiz, Huskies, Herb rabbit hole that he couldn't quite find himself out of this morning. And he looked up like 10 minutes later and he's still just talking. He's like, what? Why the fuck am I still talking about Herb? I'm like, I don't know why you're still talking about me. All you was trying to tell people is that I said what I said is on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 1 to 3 because we had put in the comments, said, let me help y'all out. And you tried to do that, and he went through the whole lineup. And he was like, and then the Huskies. And then he went down this whole Husky thing, and then he couldn't get off of it. It was hilarious.
He's infatuated with you, bro.
he could not get off of it. And I'm like, I'm trying to see how he gonna make his way back to his topic. He just couldn't. I think he eventually just had to go into a break. Like, I don't know. We'll figure it out when we come back.
It's okay. He's struggling, right? You know, now that we're only doing 3 days a week, they're missing content for 2 days of their show.
Right.
You don't know what to do. You know what I mean? He's just trying to find his place in the world. You know what I mean? Hey, man, just call us if you need some help, man.
Just call us. Or just talk about us for 15 minutes again like this morning. That works too.
Elongate our conversations, man. Just, you can stretch these out to 5 days. It's okay, bro.
It'll work for you, man.
Yeah, I believe in you.
It'll work out, man. I believe the children are our future. So anyway, listen, G. This Titanic shit. I'm sitting there, I don't know, one of these days where I've just been recovering since Sunday because I've needed to recover ever since Sunday. So I'm just sitting there fucking recovering. I'm watching this Titanic shit on TV. And it's like called Titanic, like Mysteries Uncovered, Mysteries Unsolved, and then The Truth About Titanic. It was like 3-hour-long specials, and I watched them all back to back to back. First of all, the technology that they have now to be able to recreate this shit is unbelievable. I think the images more than anything is what had me stuck. Like, they were using these fucking 3D images to literally recreate the whole entire thing. And it was raw as fuck. Like, they had this empty warehouse, like a hangar, like where you see like private jets and shit like that, like an empty warehouse like that. And they literally constructed the entire fucking Titanic in this warehouse, but like digitally constructed it. Like, it's not actually there, but it looks like it's there, and they can walk around it, and they can touch shit, and they can move shit and put shit back. It was raw as fuck. But anyway, what first caught my attention about this whole thing, what first tweaked me about it was I saw them taking this like small blimp, like a Goodyear blimp type thing. They take this small blimp all the way down to the ocean floor to the wreck site of the Titanic. And they're talking about that this is a $2 million automobile and this, that, and the third. And I'm just thinking to myself, as I'm looking at the stuff they're using, the people who are here, all these scientists, all these historians, all of these like archaeologists, all kind of shit, right? And I'm like, we don't got shit else better to do with our resources than figure out what happened to a ship 108 years ago? Like, we don't have nothing else better to do with millions of dollars than to send these motherfuckers down to the ocean floor, right? And so at first I'm watching this like irritated. But then I'm getting into it because they like finding all this crazy ass shit. And what they were trying to figure out was was anybody at fault for the Titanic going down, right? And they narrowed it down to 3 people. Either the captain of the ship, the dude who owned the cruise line, or the architect / engineer who designed the ship, right? One of these 3 dudes was who they were trying to see if they were at fault. And so they looking at the captain first, right? And on the night that they hit the iceberg, right? And first of all, it was marketed as this unsinkable ship, right? That was the whole marketing campaign. It was the unsinkable ship. And it was that cruise line's response to this other cruise line. You know, it was the Industrial Revolution. Everybody was racing to come out with the best new shit. And so they had these 2 cruise lines that were like the top 2. And it was them and it was the other one. And the other one had just came out with this big, huge ship that was shitting on all of their ships, right? And so this was their response. It was like, okay, we won't compete in like speed. What we'll do is create the biggest, largest, like strongest, indestructible, unsinkable, most glamorous ship ever.
But they knew it was going to sink before it left shore.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
No, they did not.
Yes, they did.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
Why do they know that?
The engineers told them, there were several engineers that told them this would not stay afloat. But because of capitalism and because of ego, they took that shit out anyway.
Nope.
That's the story of the Titanic.
No, it's not.
Okay.
They built this ship, and it's fucking everything they said it was. It was a fucking tank, and it was beautiful, right? And they take it out. And this is its maiden voyage, the first time this boat has been out. And on its fourth night is when they hit the iceberg. Now, here's where the negligence comes in. All day, right, or at least all evening, because they hit the iceberg at like 10:40, 11 o'clock at that night. Well, you saw something?
Yeah, Brandon said the ribbons were faulty before they left shore. They knew it.
No, they weren't. Listen, I promise you, 2 days ago, I would have been like, whatever y'all say, because I don't fucking know. I mean, I've been schooled, dog. I'm telling you.
School me. Educate me.
Like, so, they go out and they getting all of these alerts, right? From all of these other ships in the area that there's a lot of ice out here, right? And they getting them the Morse code messages and shit, and they getting all these messages that's like, yo, ice, ice, ice. Slow down, look out. There's a lot of ice out here. They got one of these messages at 7:35 p.m., right? Again, they hit the thing at like 10:40, 11 o'clock that night. These motherfuckers on the Titanic, they got the message that said ice. They literally responded, because I guess they had got tired of hearing the messages. They literally responded back, shut up, y'all fucking with our line of communication. You know what I'm saying? Like, told them to shut up.
Some more ego.
Yeah, some more ego shit, right? We are in the unsinkable ship, fam. We good, okay? Fuck that ice. Okay, cool. Here's the thing. It's nighttime, right? And it was the most this is meteorologists talking this shit and things, scientists and shit. And they like, it was a most unusual night. And what was most unusual about it was that there was no moon out that night. There was no moon, and that's usually their source of light out there, right? So there's no moon out there, and so the ocean is literally pitch black. Mm-hmm. It is pitch black. You can't see shit. Like, you walk in a fucking closet and turn the light off, it's pitch fucking black. They can't see out in front of the ship. And not only that, right? Not only is it a most unusual night because the moon is not out, it is also a most unusual night in that the seas are inexplicably calm. Like, really, really calm. Like, not fucking moving, no waves, calm. Why that is significant is because even if it's pitch black and you can't see an iceberg in the middle of the ocean because the moon isn't out, what the trained eye can recognize is that the wave activity around the base of the iceberg. And that's what they look for. They can see the wave activity around the base of the iceberg. They don't know what's right there, but they can see for a big ass space around something, there's a lot of fucking wave activity. There's something right there. But the water was so fucking calm, there was no wave activity. And so they literally are out there blind as fuck and ignoring warnings of ice. And they also did not lower the speed. The captain remained at top speed even though he had got the warnings of the ice. And he couldn't see shit. He still was like, fuck it, full speed ahead. Mm-hmm. Now, they were saying in the thing that, you know, this isn't all that uncommon when they hear about reports of ice and all that, because the captains at this time for these ships, again, this industrial race and all this, they were under immense pressure to stay on schedule, right? More than anything, get this fucking ship to whatever port it's supposed to be at on time. And so because of the immense pressure to stay on time, they was like, captains often would not reduce speed. So he doesn't reduce speed. He can't fucking see. They got the lookouts out there, but looking out for fucking what? You can't fucking see. What the lookout can see is there's some stars in the sky, right? And so that was the only little bit of light that he could see. And what he ultimately saw, the one lookout who called it, was total darkness, to where the places where he was seeing the light from the stars, mm-hmm. all of a sudden that space where he was seeing light from the stars went totally black. Like, he couldn't see, like something was now blocking that. And it was just this huge blackness. And he still didn't know what it was, and so he just rang the bell. Ding, 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 ding. He was like, iceberg, right? But literally at this point, they like
right up on it.
They fucking yards away from this shit.
About to die.
You know what I'm saying? And so they try to swerve around it. They end up swerving around it, and they hit the side of it. The side of the boat scrapes all this fucking ice. And so where did you say Brandon said the fucking screws on the side? The rivets they weren't. The ice hit them, and it fucking started. It just pelting the side of the ship all the way down. Dun, 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 dun. And it does knock some of those rivets loose. And so the rivets are holding the panels together. The rivets come out, and the panels, one of them like they bend in. Mm-hmm. Water comes in that motherfucker. At this very moment, they are cooked. Nobody knows it yet, though. Right? They got like 90 minutes to live, and nobody fucking knows it. It happened in the boiler room, and so the people in the boiler room saw the water coming in. They run out, right? But the ship was so fucking big, and it was in 3 levels, right?
It's gonna take that.
The people at the bottom.
Minutes.
The people at the bottom, that's the third class, right? So that's basically poor folks that's on this boat for whatever reason, right? Mm-hmm. They felt it.
The aspirational people.
Right. They felt it like boom. You know what I'm saying? And it shook them, and so they started running upstairs to see what the fuck is going on. The second class, on the second level, they said what they would have felt was like a tremor, kind of like a light earthquake. Like they would have been like, oh,
what was that?
The table shook. Mm-hmm. In first class, the top of the shit, they had no fucking idea.
Don't mean nothing.
They didn't feel it. They didn't know it.
Just kind of how class works in the regular world.
Yeah, the bottom people.
Yeah, y'all fuck.
Shut your ass up. Yeah. Middle class. Oh, hold on.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Shaky.
Us. Don't give a fuck. and that was how it happened, right? Mm-hmm. So they don't fucking know yet. Now, they are. So then they say, okay, we got to get people onto the boats, the lifeboats, right? Now, they were supposed to have, legally, they had to have 16 lifeboats on this boat. They actually had 20, right? So they have 4 more than they were legally required to have. But these assholes, dog, these motherfuckers, G, they put these 20 fucking boats in the water. None of them were filled to capacity. Not one of these fucking boats were filled to capacity. Some of them had 37 vacant seats, 33 vacant seats, 24 vacant seats. All of these fucking empty seats. Wow, 1,500 people finna go in the water and die.
Because they only allowed the top tier to get in the lifeboats?
That was part of it, but there are some survivors who came up from the bottom. But again, the bottom knew first. And so some of them came up like, yo,
this is fucked up.
Okay, I know y'all rich motherfuckers up here sipping Dom Perignon and dancing and shit. We need to get on these motherfucking boats. So some people did actually make it from third class and became survivors. The point is that they had enough boat space, lifeboat space, for 1,200 people, right? 700 people survived. 500 people died that did not have to fucking die at all. Like, not to mention we can stuff these boats a little bit more, at least put a couple extra motherfuckers on each boat, right? But at least 500 people for sure did not have to die if they had put all the people in the boat. So they putting that on the captain too for not getting that shit done. But here's another thing the captain did. Earlier that day, right? Earlier in that afternoon, there was a scheduled lifeboat drill scheduled to happen on the boat.
They ain't do that.
The motherfucking captain canceled the lifeboat drill.
We don't need that. We ain't crashing.
We in the unsinkable ship. We don't need that shit, right? Mm-hmm. He cancels the fucking lifeboat drill earlier that fucking day, right? For no reason. Nobody knows why he canceled it. He canceled the shit, right? And then they put these boats half-filled into the water.
I just Googled when did the Titanic sink, and it makes sense that we're talking about this today because it sunk on April 14th, 19th. Yeah. April 14th and April 15th.
Yeah.
19.
Yeah, because it started that night and carried into the morning. I think it actually went down at like 2-something in the morning. I think it hit at like
had started like around 11 or 12.
It started around 11, and then after the first hit, it had like 2 hours or something like that. But by the time the water filled, they was down to like 90 minutes of getting their asses out of there. Anyway, what they go on to explain about the captain, other than and I don't know how they say other than, because this was all the fucking problem, the negligence of not heeding the advice of the other boats that were around to say there's a lot of fucking ice out here, not slowing the fuck down, not doing the boat drill, and not filling the fucking lifeboats that you did have. They only assumed that they had lifeboats for one reason. If there was a mechanical issue with the ship,
And we had to get to shore.
we got to get to another ship. Another ship, we can sit here and idle for as long as we need to, right? Another ship will come, and then we just put people on the boats to take them to the other ship. That's all these boats are for. It ain't for to save people fucking life like that, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's why they didn't even think it was a big problem that they didn't have enough lifeboats for everybody. The law changed after that. Now every ship has to have enough lifeboats for every passenger on the ship. However, moving on to whether or not there was a design flaw in the ship, right? They did all the shit, G. They do all these deep dives. And for the first time, what this exploration was doing, they were covering the entire wreck site. It's a 15 square mile area where they find debris down on the ocean floor from the Titanic. And this was the first time that they had covered the entire area. Everybody had seen, the big part in the front of the ship and all that. But for the first time, they were covering the entire area because, again, they were going to recreate it in this fucking hangar to see exactly what the fuck happened. They find every piece they can. And for over a century, there's been debates about what actually happened. Initially, the cruise line and everybody else, the official line was that the ship sank completely intact in one piece. It all went down in one piece, right? Now they wanted to sell that narrative because the issue was, hey, was there a flaw in the design of the ship? And so the shipping line like, nope, ship did not break apart because the reports were that it broke apart. You know who reported that it broke apart? The fucking survivors who were there, okay? The people who fucking saw the shit. You know what I'm saying? The people who were on the fucking ship were like, nah, that motherfucker snapped into two pieces, that part went, and then that part went. They didn't want that to get out because that means something is wrong with the ship. This ship was not supposed to break in half, right? But and so for a long time they said that that's not what happened, but that is what happened. It did break in half because not only did they hit the iceberg on the side of the ship, but the iceberg also hit on the bottom of the ship, and they didn't find that out until they was doing this particular exploration, which was, I want to say in like 2012 or some shit like that, right? And so they doing this exploration, and that's when they found out that, okay, no, without a doubt, well, they had found that out in 85, that it actually split in half, but they confirmed how it split in half and why, because they found all the fucking pieces, including the two pieces at the very bottom of the ship that hang off I forgot what it's called, that hang off the very bottom of the ship on either side of the ship, right? And they found these motherfucking pieces, and they can see the damage on those. And they like, yeah, it hit on the bottom too.
That's how they explain how it hit the ice, how the rivers broke.
Right.
Okay.
And so it hit the bottom, and this is how strong this motherfucking thing was. So they had one of the theories was that the ship had let me show you.
You got to drink water to show it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So I guess we're going to have another one of these stories 10, 20 years from now about the Twin Towers in New York.
So
the bombs that went off in them buildings.
The bombs that went off in the basements.
That was 100% implosion. That was 100% implosion. But anyway, listen.
Fahrenheit 2022, you know.
They had initially thought that it hit and then it folded on the bottom, right? It folded on the bottom like that. Mm-hmm. And I know you don't care. I've always known you don't care. I knew you didn't care when I started. Most of y'all don't care. But I'm very fucking intrigued, and so I'm telling y'all anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But anyway.
Yeah, finish your story. Let's go.
I'm going to.
Cool story, bro.
I'm going to finish. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. I'm already intrigued by it. I'm going to keep going. They thought it folded like this, right, from the bottom. And so that was been the theory for a very long time. And so they was like, if it folded like that, then this idea that it broke in half the other way wouldn't really make sense. And so this one scientist was like, he was like, listen, don't believe none of the shit these people been telling you, right? He's like, I believe the steel right? They found all the steel at the bottom. He's like, the steel will tell you the story. He's like, the steel ain't got a reputation to maintain. The steel ain't trying to keep a theory alive for 100
tell the
years.
truth, right.
The steel ain't forgot. The steel is
truth
going
is
to
in
tell
the
us what
design.
happened, right? And so he said it didn't bend at the bottom. It actually collapsed in the top. Said it hit and structurally from the inside, it cracked in half at the top. And he said, we know this because once we found the steel from the bottom of the ship, it was not mangled.
Inward.
It didn't hit it
outward.
It was perfectly intact, right?
Oh, okay.
It had stretched a little bit, but it was perfectly intact. What was crushed, and the only piece that they've never been able to find, is the center of the top, right? They've been able to find the front of it, the back of it. Nobody knows where the center of this shit was, right? And when they found it, because they found it on this exploration, it was all mangled up. And so they knew that this is actually the part that hit, right? And so what happened was, this very bottom, G, this shit was so fucking strong, G. This folds, boom, then it cracks back down, and then it's holding it together just with this fucking piece of metal at the bottom. Eventually, this metal gives way to this fucking massive fucking structure, right? And eventually, it does fold down. But even when it folds down, it's holding on to the front of the ship like this. The front of the ship is just hanging. Now, everybody that was on that part of the ship, they're already cooked.
Super dead.
Okay, this is in the water, right? But it's holding on by this thing until it finally.
It won't break all the way off.
Right, it wouldn't finally break off. And then it finally, under the pressure of the water and the fucking massive size of the ship, it finally snapped. Boom. This part falls off. This fucking back part of the ship actually stabilizes itself for a second. Once this falls, it actually stabilizes for 1 second in the water. And for 1 second, some of the surviving witnesses said, we thought that part was going to float for a while. It was just an illusion. They had no fucking chance. It was over with.
It's over with.
That part falls too. It hits the fucking. It travels down. They say it might have took like 5 minutes for that motherfucker because they said it was spiraling down. They knew it was spiraling because of how they found the pieces. Now we're 100 years later. The only pieces that they find are huge pieces of this shit. Right? All the other little shit didn't kind of wilted away or whatever. But the pieces that they found are huge. They find like the 5 boilers. These 50-ton fucking pieces of steel boilers. They find some of the fucking engines and shit like that. And then they also find the pieces of the deck from all 3 levels where it had crashed in. And they was all stuck together. It's random shit. It's a piece of the clock. It's a piece of the fucking ceiling. It's a fucking revolving door. All this shit. And they show you where all this shit was at. The technology was so fucking cold. But anyway, they show you all this shit, and this stuff is crammed together, and it's as tall as a 3-story building just sitting at the bottom of the floor of the fucking ocean. But it took it 5 minutes to get down there, and the violence of the crash when it finally hit the bottom. I don't know what the fuck is at the bottom of the ocean. I guess that's just the end of the earth.
Nobody knows.
Right, you know what I'm saying? But for this thing to fall that fucking far and then crash that fucking hard, it mangled the ship. It like fucking obliterated. It just disintegrated like that part of the ship. And they found in pieces all over this motherfucker, G. That shit was so fucking cold. But what they determined was, scientifically, right? Not only was there nothing wrong structurally or with the design of the Titanic, that it performed better than any other ship would have performed. There have been other ships that have sank since then, including as recently as like 2013 or something, that one ship had sank. And what all those ships do is they fall on their side, right? They fall on their side first, and then they fucking sink. Which, for all the new laws and shit that say you got to have, enough lifeboats for everybody on the boat, it don't mean shit if the boat falls on its fucking side and half of those boats are inaccessible any fucking way. They said that the Titanic actually performed better than any other ship would have performed under those circumstances. They said no ship could have sustained, could have withstood the fucking damage that fucking ship went through. No ship. So it wasn't a design flaw. And the ship line had done everything it was supposed to do in terms of meeting all the legal standards and getting all the boats and all that shit. Except the fucking cruise line owner, he was on the ship.
Oh, okay.
He was on the ship.
Did he get in the lifeboat?
You better fucking believe he got his goof ass in the lifeboat, okay? He got in the lifeboat. The captain did not. The captain went down with the ship. But a lot of people think he committed suicide because he was just, this is all your fucking fault, fam. Like, all of this shit is your fucking fault. And they like the destruction of it, you can't even imagine. Because at the very, very end of it, the last part of the ship went in straight like this, right? Motherfuckers is straight up in the fucking air, dog. All of that shit is falling. All of the, you know, super glamorous, valuable shit. Big ass clocks and stoves and all that shit is just falling on motherfuckers.
Crushing people.
You know what I'm saying? And it was bad, bro.
That's got to be a horrible way to die.
That's got to be fucking terrible. Not only that, G. All of the boats that went in the water, 20 of them that went in the water, and I told you none of them were to capacity. Not one single boat. There's not one report of one single boat coming and swooping anybody out of the water. Not one fucking boat came close to, like, get them out of the water.
Yeah, fuck them.
Not one, G. There's not one single survivor that says, I survived because the boat came and got me. Not one. There are a couple of people who said I survived because I swam to a boat and put myself up on a boat. Nobody says the motherfuckers came and got me, G. They watching these people freeze to death. And then they telling their stories like, by the time the morning came, when these other boats was there and shit,
To save
it was like, all you see
It's frozen
is
bodies.
frozen bodies all around you.
Leonardo DiCaprio in the movie.
Frozen bodies
As
all
if
around
he couldn't
you.
pull his ass up on that piece of wood.
You're so stupid, Rose. Rose, we in rotation, shorty. You
Rose,
tweaking.
you full of shit, Joe.
Yeah, all this great love story. Rose was a piece of shit. Okay, fuck Rose. Okay, like that's terrible, Rose. This the love of your life. I love him so much. Let his ass freeze to death.
Boosie, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Boosie.
What's Boosie say? Why am I still talking about this shit? I'm sure that I ain't even reading the comments, but I'm sure they're like, why the fuck is he still talking about this shit? It's probably when people were standing at my fucking birthday party. I was giving that long ass speech. Like, why the fuck is he still
Take the
talking?
mic.
Shut
Take the mic
fuck
from-
up. I don't know why nobody told me to shut the fuck up Sunday, but anyway, the people who hit the water and still survived, they described it as like being stabbed with like 1,000 knives all over your body. Talking about how cold the water was. G. Piercing cold, G. It was cold enough to freeze the ocean into humongous fucking ice blocks. Your body ain't supposed to be in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And they just watching these people fucking freeze to death, G. The humanity, the lack of humanity on all of these people. One, to put those boats in the water half filled, and then two, for not one single boat to scoop up one single person, G. I know y'all in shock. I know y'all scared. I know it's dark out here. But fam, what the fuck?
You know we know more about outer space than we know about the ocean.
Oh yeah. That is a untapped world. It's a whole nother fucking world down there.
We don't know what's going on.
For all the shit that these marine biologists do know, they willingly admit to you
they don't know
that
what's
there's
going
way
down there.
more than we don't know down there.
They
find
can't
new
go but
species.
so low. They can only go so far down. The weight of the water will crush them.
No, they can get down there now.
Really?
Yeah. Gee, they were on the fucking floor doing this exploration.
I think it's different.
It's certain places
It's
that go.
different depths. Like you can't.
Oh yeah, there are different depths of
They
it.
can't even imagine the bottom.
But what they also have though now, because so there were two different explorations to this thing. One of them were people going down in these little fucking blimp things. Another one was these things they were calling automated. So what?
Sadiq is a fool.
What'd he say?
Talk about Ron. Break, please. Break.
Whatever. Anyhow, moving right along. What they have now is these automated vehicles where nobody has to be in there.
Right.
And that's where they got all the imaging from. Nobody was even in these motherfuckers. And they brought it back. They recreated it. They used architects. They used, artists and technology to recreate the whole thing, put it all back together. Shit was phenomenal.
Mary said there is land underwater without water. That's how deep it goes.
Yeah.
That's
It's
next level shit.
it's crazy down there, dog. It's a whole nother world. But I watch all that fucking I like all the wild shit, like all the animal shit and marine shit and jungle shit. I be watching all that shit.
Even
And they
around
got
that-
technology to go down there and see that shit is bananas.
That ocean story about like just genetics and how it works, man. Like when you start to understand, like most of the animals down there are translucent.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the fish are like they're see through. You know what I mean? They're all born blind because there's no need for eyes.
See for what?
Right. It's just it's amazing to think of the science of that part of it, right? But getting into science so we can transition.
Sure.
You understand me?
Sure.
We wanted to go into.
I know how bad y'all wanted to know that shit.
Yeah, y'all can transition after the break.
Yeah, oh, that's fine. Hold on, manager man. We're gonna get. I want to dive a little deep into this Dante.
I see what you did there.
You
Dive
know
a little
what I mean?
deeper. I like it.
Yeah, we're gonna dive a little deeper.
Stand on-
ocean. You see how that works?
I see you.
I'm getting better at this.
I see you, bro.
In regards to the science of it, though, and the science of genetics, though, I was really trying to go. I want to explore this conversation around Dante Wright in contrast to the HBO documentary of Elimination of the Brutes,
Mm-hmm.
because I think it is a scientific correlation between what we're experiencing today and just who white people really are. And it kind of goes back to what the brother Mac Glover was saying about they're not really man, they're mankind. These are they're like super predators, and we don't recognize what we're up against. So let's go to a break, manager, man.
Y'all ready now?
You sure you ready to push the button? Come on, push the button.
WIIFTBP.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday.
WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.
Sissy's Taco Bar Pop-Up is back with more hours and more days. Check them out at their new pop-up location at the Woodlawn, located 1200 East 79th Street. Sissy's Taco Bar offers authentic street tacos infused with international soul. Now every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at the Woodlawn from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. New vegan tacos have been added to the menu too. Visit sissytacobar.com for more info.
All day. Oh, oh, whoa, oh, oh, whoa, oh. Check it out. See, while you was on the corner trying to scrape up pack money, I was driving 80 stack trucks off rap money. I'm back money. If you want it, come to the hundreds and ask for me. Meet them OGs that'll blast for me. I'm right here. Ill Adidas, $400 jeans on me. Itchy with no safety, a loaded magazine on me. Southside, that's as wild as it gets. And no, I never sold crack. That's some house nigga shit. I'm not judging, but every man that's a man gotta stand by his principles, and I'm not budging. That's Mickey. You can take it how you want, but you can never be me. You can fake it how you want. I spit that uncut raw. You can bake it how you want. Break it down any way you like. You get the same result. Get in tune. The elephant in the room has now assumed pole position. Whoa. Oh. BJ, get him. Come on.
Reporting live from the gutter where that butter get gorillas jobs. That's why we call it work. The same work who get a nigga robbed. I throw my dice against the concrete. If the bitches pass, see you later. Grab my paper, tell her they kiss my ass. This the jungle, baby, I'm a lion. Try me, I'll be firing. The same banger saved Private Ryan. You the prey, you survive and hide. Better pray that them vultures and them rovers don't go flying by them. Them other niggas just so-so. How in the birth a nigga this hot in the cold go? I went from 20-inch assassins on that Osmo to that pretty 760 sitting low on them bozos. Those are big shoes, you motherfuckers is so slow. Get caught without your heat in these streets is a no-no. Baby need Pampers, daddy need that photo. It's bread or nothing, big old niggas, you see the logo.
Whoa. Come on, Scooter.
Welcome back. We are live from inside the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios alongside Toussaint Werner. My name is Herb Howard in the production studio doing all of the hard work and making commands that fall on deaf ears. His name is Ron Riller. Ron, what's happening, bro?
They fall on deaf ears, man.
You said something?
They falling on deaf ears. Obviously they are.
You hear something? Yeah, you hear something?
What's happening, bro?
That's the word.
Distortion in the mic.
Hey.
I thought I kept hearing something.
So,
What's going on?
I don't really like birthday cards.
Okay.
And I don't really like them because
Ron gave you a birthday card?
Ron gave me a birthday card. I don't really like him because
he's such a fucking cancer.
Not that there's something wrong with him,
nigga. You.
Not that there's something wrong with him. It's just
hey,
that,
bro.
It's just that you sit him on. You sit
My
him on
heart, your heart, we're hearts.
You know, I know you gay. You sit him on like your dresser or like a table for like a few days, and then what the fuck you do with him?
This?
You so fucking. Something's wrong with you. Hey, but your car was actually fucking dope, bro. And I told him that shit was fire. I appreciate it,
the
man.
Management man. That's fucking wonderful.
Nah, it was a dope car. It was funny. Like the actual card that they had printed out was fucking funny. And then the shit that you wrote in there was thoughtful and dope, man. I appreciate it.
Card,
fuck what he's talking about. I appreciate it, bro. That shit was dope, and I appreciate it.
That's beautiful.
Anyway, they're in the bottom of the water. Nah, shit. Hey, forget y'all, man. Okay.
Hey,
y'all get on my nerve. Y'all shouldn't treat me that way.
They just showing their appreciation.
Nah, it's fine. It's fine. I was gonna tell the story anyway.
It was a wonderful story. I was all the way in it.
Yeah,
I was in it.
yeah.
I was all the way in it.
Especially you, Sadiq. I went through the comments through on the breaks. I wasn't seeing the comments while I was telling my wonderful story that was absolutely necessary.
You know it's bad with Sadiq. Like, what? Was it Sadiq? Sadiq said, what did he say? Ron, make an executive decision. Go to break.
I think that was Adrian who said that. Everybody was on it. Adrian, Boosie, Sadiq. Everybody was like, yo, shut the fuck up. That's okay.
Ron is so thoughtful. You see the comments. They love him, Ron, manager, man. That's beautiful, man.
I appreciated it, man. So, well, that's really all that matters.
So check this out. You got me hooked up over there.
And I saw a video.
Man,
I got you now.
You got me on the road.
I got you over here now. And I saw a video from the speech that I gave, not the long, stupid ass speech I gave at the party. The long, stupid ass speech I gave back at the house at the after party when I popped the bottle of champagne that you had brought.
Right.
Why did y'all let me do either of those fucking speeches? Both of y'all, everybody should be like, shut up. I was way too drunk at that time to be talking. But if you're ready, sir, we can begin this show.
So I want you all's assessment of what's happening here in this video. This is Dante Wright's aunt speaking in Minnesota. We good? We good over here?
Yes, sir.
Say his name!
Dante Wright!
Say his name!
Dante Wright!
They murdered my nephew! She killed my nephew! Listen! Every pistol, every taser, it has a safety on it.
It's snowing out
She
there?
saw that she had to release that.
It ain't Minnesota. I don't doubt it.
I watched that video like everybody else watched that video. That woman held that gun out in front of her for a long damn time. A long damn time.
Yes, she did.
My nephew was 20 years old.
Tell him
20 years old. I don't care what nobody got to say about him. He was loved.
Yes,
he was ours. He came from us. My brother and my sister is hurt. Like I said, this is no broken home. This is no broken home. This is 23 years of love.
Tell him.
23. My nephew was 20. Did y'all not see my little great nephew? Did y'all not see that beautiful baby? He is fatherless. Not over a mistake, over murder. Come on. That's murder.
Murder.
Say his name.
Dante Wright.
Say his name.
Dante Wright.
I wear this shirt. And the craziest thing is to find out today that my family has connections to this man, to this family.
Yeah, that was wild to find out,
His
too.
girlfriend was a teacher for my nephew.
My Lord.
My nephew was a lovable young man. His smile. Oh, Lord, the most beautiful smile. Y'all took that. My nephew's blood is on y'all head.
Tell him nice.
I'll my brother and to see my sister's pain. Come on. Hold her accountable. Hold her higher than accountable. You train people on this stuff. You train people on this stuff. 26 years. 26 years. Say his name.
Dante Wright.
Say his name.
Dante Wright.
They murdered my...
More of the same is what I see, bro. I see more of the same. I see more of the same, more press conferences, more rally cries, more say his name, more say her name, more of the same that is not going to yield a different result. It's just not. We all know the definition of insanity. This is not going to yield a different result. If we don't do something different, we're not going to get nothing different. And I'm not sitting here telling you that I know what the different thing looks like or exactly how it should go or exactly even what the result of that action would be. But I can say unequivocally that nary a press conference, nary a candlelight vigil, a rally, a Dan Ryan shutdown, none of that shit has yielded the results that we've sought. So we should try something else.
It's hard to watch that video, right, for me. Because there's a lot of pain in that video, and it's sincere pain. It's sincere.
Oh, 100%.
Right. And what was intriguing to me about that video was how many times she said he didn't come from a broken home.
As though if he did.
She was validating his existence through him not coming from some kind of tattered past. You know. And I'm not trying to villainize her by because essentially she's not doing it on purpose, I know.
But the white supremacy is on display even in her pain. White supremacy is on display.
Right. You know, and I know she's not doing it on purpose, but she wants to kind of create a paradigm where, you know, the world can see that he comes from the idea of what would be safe. So there's, I know you know the full backstory of how this situation went down with him.
I do know that he had a warrant. It was based off initial. I saw two things. I saw two different warrants. And I don't know which one was true. The internet is whatever. But I saw two different things. I saw one that was about him smoking weed as a kid, small piece of weed, getting a misdemeanor about it, not showing up to court because they sent the papers to the wrong address, and then still issued him a warrant in the middle of a fucking pandemic. And so therefore his warrant was there. I've also seen something about an unlawful discharge of a weapon.
So there's a story that his mother's telling.
Mm-hmm.
His mother's telling a completely different story.
Okay.
Right. His mother's telling a story that the police pulled him over. He called his mama in the interim of this interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Right. He said, "Mama, they asking for insurance," and she said, "Well, when they come back to the car, just put them on the phone with me. Everything is cool. I got all the information." His mama just got the car recently, I guess. You know, I'm just recanting her story. Right. And in the interim of that, she hears the officer say, "Get out the car." And he said, "Well, officer, why would I have to get out the car?" And he said, "Just get out the car, and I tell you, then put the phone down." And when he put the phone down, he slammed it down. Well, this is how she's recanting the story. The phone came down hard, and she kept calling back because it hung up on her. And by the time she got back through to his girlfriend, the girlfriend responded that he's lumped over in the driver's seat. He's been shot. He's unresponsive. And then she said she heard the police telling her, the girlfriend, to hang up the phone. You know, it's tragic, right?
How far did the car go before it crashed?
I don't know of any crashing.
Well, he got back in that car, and that car rolled.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know the scope. I'm just recanting what the mom's story said. And from my understanding, it was a routine traffic stop. And the reason they stopped him was because he had air fresheners hanging from his rearview mirror.
Right.
I mean,
Which I've been I've had a cop use that as an excuse for pulling me over before. I knew it was complete bullshit. I was extremely pissed about it then. But I've had a cop tell me that before. Of course, this was in fucking deep southern Illinois.
But it's essentially implicit bias, right? She's a training officer. She was on a training mission. She was training another police officer. And just a lot of interesting stuff about this situation, right?
Also heard about expired registration.
Yeah, so, it's a lot that you're going to hear, right? And I don't know what adds up to the truth, but I just think it's interesting how Auntie projected this narrative of how good of a kid he was. I think it's interesting that he called his mom in the midst of the traffic stop, like, hey, Ma, this is what it is, which is, in my mind, exemplifies the kind of kid that he was, right? He wasn't the kind of kid that I foresee jumping out the vehicle and running from the police.
Have you seen the video?
No.
Okay.
No.
Q just asked if we have the video. I think I do have it. I don't really want to show it.
Yeah, I don't want to.
But they asked him to get out of the car. He does get out of the car at some point. He gets out of the car, and they tell him he has a warrant for his arrest. And they go to turn him around facing his car on the side of the car. Now, most often, as is, I think most protocol is that they will have you come to the back of the car for this, right? Probably for that very reason. They'll have you come to the back of the car. They did this right on the side of the car while his driver's side door was open, right? And at some point, the guy who's trying to arrest him, officer's like, yo, don't do that. Don't snatch away from me, right? And he's like, yo, don't try to snatch away from me, right? And eventually, Brother Dante does snatch away from me. He gets away from me. He jumps back in the car and he pulls off. Well, there is a fucking altercation, right? A physical altercation with them trying to stop him from doing that, right? And then that's when she's yelling taser, taser, taser. That's when she shoots him. Car rolls away. She looks at the other cop. She says, I shot him. And that's why I was saying how far did the car go before it crashed? Because the car, he jumped back in the car. They fall over him getting out the car. She shot him. Car rolls away. Yeah. So, I don't know, bro.
So it's a meme that I saw that I thought was interesting. And it says, a white lady said he whistled at her. Those Skittles looked like a gun. He was sleeping in his car in a drive-through.
Selling cigarettes.
Maybe tried to use a fake $20 bill. That cell phone looked like a gun. She left the front door open. He had a legal firearm in his car. He was selling loose cigarettes. That pill bottle looked like a gun. He was sitting on his sofa eating ice cream. She failed to signal a lane change. He was walking down the street with a friend.
We thought she was home alone.
He was selling CDs and DVDs. She was sleeping in her own bed. He was in his grandmother's backyard. Those sandwiches sure looked like a gun. He was unlocking his own front door. He had an air freshener. Right? And I say all this to say, going back to the aunties conversation, right? We're looking for people to find value in our humanity in a society that has no value for humanity.
And no matter how many times they show us that, we appeal to their sense of humanity.
And it's just not a real.
He didn't come from a broken home. Right. We loved him.
That's exactly what she's trying to appeal to.
They don't have that.
So they don't care about that when you say it, right?
Yeah, they never have and they never will.
But
that
see,
is not.
This goes back to the documentary of the extermination of the brutes, though. They don't see you
right
as human.
Right.
They don't, and this has been the history.
Right.
This has been the trajectory since the jump.
Right.
So there's a article on the extermination of the brutes that was in the New Yorker, and here's a quick quote out the article, and it's just explaining the film. And it says, it's explaining how the director created the film. And he said, "This is not a contribution to historical research. The story that he tells is a vast one, a millennial one, that of white supremacy, or more specifically, white's presumption of supremacy, a presumption that, as he makes clear, continues to this day to be asserted with violence and justified with lies. Peak ranges back to the Crusades, documenting the claims of white Christian European superiority as the argument for conquest in Asia. These events were soon followed by the Spanish Inquisition and its perception of Jews and Muslims, and at the same time, the voyage of Columbus to the New World and the genocidal destruction of indigenous peoples that that his expedition and many explorers that followed committed. There's no mention of black people in this quote, but you know, this is the history of who these people are.
Right.
You understand me?
Right.
They are operating at the lowest frequency. They are a violent cast of folks. It's amazing how strong and how powerful media and marketing is.
Right.
Because if you was a immigrant to this country, you come here with this idea that black people are this kind of a dangerous sect of people. You know, but inherently, we're not, right? And those that you do put that value in, that you place that value in, that who you do see as the humane, are really on the other side of that spectrum. You know what I mean? And like, this is historical fact, right? Going back to the Titanic concept, you know what I mean? Like when the boat goes down and who they save and who they don't save, and how large of a story that is.
Yeah.
Well, in this film, right? There's an animation, and there's an animation about the Middle Passage, and how many bodies they were just dumping over the shores. Going back to the dynamic of the ocean, scientifically, they say sharks genetically changed their eating patterns because they would just follow slave ships. They didn't eat meat like that. But because it was just a free feeding
There's just
frenzy
so much
over
meat
the
out here.
years, genetically, they changed their life. Like, you know, they say sharks can smell blood in the water from.
That's where they learned to smell it.
That's a direct reflection of the bodies being dropped over the goddamn boats from the Middle Passage. Like, think about the kind of person you'd have to be to see humanity in that way, to take a life that easily and that many. You understand what I'm saying? And this is no different than then. This is just our moment. They've never changed. Historically, they've never changed. And the only response that you can have to a brutal, violent person is be more skilled in brutality and violence.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
That is it. And appealing to their humanity is null and void.
No, it's not. It's not a fucking thing, dog.
It's not.
Bro. It's not even a fucking thing, right? And when you see it play out that way, and yet you still have people trying to appeal to their sense of morality, their sense of humanity, it at some point it begins to irritate me. It really has begun to irritate me. It's like your little cousin or your nephew or hell your kid even, right? You know, maybe you're dealing with a different way on some personal shit, but whatever. Little kid in class is steady getting picked on, right? Fam, we can do it like we can do what we can, right? We can watch and we can do this and we can call these. But if you every fucking day you're gonna come crying to principal, teacher, whoever, you need to hit that motherfucker back at some point, okay? Because clearly this other shit is not fucking working, okay? And you learn that as a shorty. Like, okay, cool, you come tell me, but don't be letting motherfuckers out there pick on you, though. You better hit his ass back. Like, that's...
Salim says, those who survive the Middle Passage are endowed with unprecedented genetic fitness. I agree.
Absolutely.
But there's also stories. There's also theories out there, right? You know how black people die of high blood pressure and all that. You know, they say because of the level of grime and feces and all that we legitimately lived in.
That we got diseases from that?
That we have a higher, I don't know how they quantify your salt intake or whatever. They say it's based on that. There are theories out there that we still die today because of high blood pressure, because of the impacts of slavery.
Like, just that right there. Just to pack people into such cramped spaces and make them live that way for months. Like, there's no fucking humanity in that.
No, it's not.
You know what I mean? You're not supposed to lay the fuck down for that long.
But that's exactly what they said, though, and that's what the movie speaks to, right?
That's where we got all these blood pressure issues. You are not supposed to fucking lay down in a fucking cramped space for that fucking long.
But the concept itself is that we are superior beings. Everybody else is disposable.
We are.
You know what I mean? And theoretically, even going back to the ISIS papers, you know, like that is the argument. That is what they are protecting. You know what I mean? Our gene superiority. And regardless whether it be the Spanish Inquisition, regardless whether it be the Middle Passage, regardless whether it be George Floyd, regardless it be Philando Castile, regardless of what it is, the theory is always the same. I'm justified in murdering you, and we do this through what they say. I thought that was an interesting part of that quote. I'm trying to find it. Says, to this day, to be asserted with violence and justified with lies. That's the entire theory of power, right? At least American power. We will do to you whatever the fuck we want to do to you, and then we will make you the villain.
Absolutely.
They do it on the shores here with victims of police violence.
Absolutely.
They do it nationwide.
Absolutely.
They do it internationally when they attack other places.
Absolutely.
Right? They just demonize them places, and because we're ignorant, we don't have any understanding of the scope. It works impeccably, right? Like, think about how
brilliantly, dog.
Think about the police violence that takes place. I just ran off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. If we just do this one meme, we count like 20 deaths by police, by white police too, right? And they all happened within the last 5 years. And these are like highly publicized. We know for a fact that they're putting up like 400 to 500 murders a year. Right, but these are the highly publicized ones, right? And we keep again looking for humanity, but it was sleeping in the car. Try to use a fake $20. I mean, this is the value of your life, bro.
Again, when is it going to? Like, you can't appeal to the same person that is choking you for your fucking life. Like, you just can't. That doesn't make sense.
It don't work. You can't appeal at all.
And so when does it become right? And so, and even worse, we get to a space where we start to use their systems of justification. And so that's why you have this sister up here who's heartbroken, and I can't fucking imagine it. And my heart goes out to her, right? But that's why she's standing there saying he didn't come from a broken home. At some point, on some level, subconsciously, you have accepted the fact that if he did come from a broken home,
it's feasible.
So the fuck what?
It's feasible.
You know what I'm saying?
But that's why the system works, and that's why the conversation is always the same kind of conversation, even when we go to the ADOS conversation about identity. Because we don't have identity. Somebody talked about they had been tuned in for 7 minutes and 2 already said capitalism. But because we don't really fully have a solidified identity, we find comfort in things, and things are the result of capital. So we ingratiate ourselves into their construct as the valuable construct. So yeah, when I say that it ain't that many black people, it's just a bunch of dark-skinned white people, I mean it.
Yeah.
But that's also our resolve. That is our answer. Finding our value internally and creating our own understanding of identity. That is where our answer lies. It ain't about money. Now, the reparations conversations, I know HR 40 just had a conversation this morning, and I support all that shit. But to the point that Salim says, all that money does is give us an anchoring to really find and fix the issues.
Right.
And the issue, and find it, we ain't got to find it. The issue is finding an identity for black people on this soil. Something to value us separate from, i.e., the American construct of white supremacy.
Right.
Because that whole design is built around devaluing you.
Right.
And we've adopted it.
Right.
Right?
Right.
That's why she said he didn't come from a broken home 16 fucking times.
Yes.
Because I want you to be assured that his mother and his father loved one another, so they could only produce something in love.
Right. But also implied
he shouldn't
in
have been murdered for air freshener. He's not one of those.
Implied in that is that those people can.
Those people are one of those.
Meanwhile, the vast majority of my generation and yours, and I'm glad to, as I look around my circle now, that the generations, you know, that are coming up now, the kids that are coming up now, that doesn't seem to be the reality. But for the vast majority of my generation and yours, we came from fucking broken families.
And it's still reality today. In context. Yeah. Like, we're not getting married. You know what I mean? Yeah. So in context, they still quantify them as broken. right?
Well, I'm just saying this, that I know way more fathers than I knew as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like the black men that I know around, they all are daily present in their children's lives. And that wasn't the case for me. I know your father was everybody's fucking father, and the 12 closest guys I was closest to in grammar school, one of them had a father in the house. You know what I'm saying? And so, but I'm saying, like, most of us come from those fucking homes. And here we are, a sister who's just had her fucking son killed by the police are saying, hey, the vet, subconsciously, she's not saying this actually, but subconsciously she's saying the exact same thing. Like, yeah, they not valuable. They can fucking die. He is valuable.
But even so this is the part of the story that's hardest to explain to our people, right? It's easy to identify the villain in something, a public instance like this, right? He's been shot. It's on video camera. There's, the right lawyers in the conversation. It's in the midst of another high-profile case happening 20 miles away from there. The story and the math just all adds up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But the narrative of why fathers aren't in the home is the same narrative.
100%.
Right? So there's one thing to be killed and violently and on video.
Yeah, we getting killed every day, G.
The projection is they're killing you in classrooms. They're
in
killing
grocery
you
stores.
in grocery stores.
In banks.
In banks. They're killing you everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
That is the value of your life, to perish.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're not supposed to win the game. You're just supposed to struggle through it to keep the top afloat.
You tread water next to this fucking boat long enough.
This is the Titanic.
But if you try to climb your ass up here, it will shoot you. And all we saying is, hey, give us reparations, and that will serve as our lifeboat, okay, until we can figure our shit out and say, okay, let's all get together, y'all. We need to be pedaling that way. You know what I'm saying? But when you all in the fucking water, it's just...
But we sleep, right? And it's like, how do we
hospitals, good call, Ready Rock. Hospitals as well.
Yeah. How do we shop this message? How do we turn on the part of our consciousness that can hear this, right? So to look at the extermination of the brutes, that information isn't necessarily new to me, right? But I know that the vast majority of us don't look at white people as villains.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
That narrative, that narrative, the media, the way the presentation is, how the story is presented around white lives and white life, because of our values and the
aspirations to be close to them, allows us to tell ourselves lies that don't make sense. The same thing I say on Relationship Friday when I say that because your partner wants to believe you're bullshit, if you can give them a halfway plausible story for why the fuck you did what you did, they will believe it because they don't want to believe that you are just smoking them. They don't want to believe it in the first place. Mm-hmm. We don't want to believe that the people who we so desperately desire to be accepted by are just smoking us, period. And so we will find any reason. No, I know this person. I know this person. They're not like that. Okay, that's fine. All right. And that's probably true. I know some cool white people like that love me for real. But I'm not going to let that fucking skew my perception of reality on the whole. Nah, fuck no. I see what's going on here. And I'm not going to tell myself no lie because it's comfortable and it's appeasing and it feels good. Feels good to say my partner ain't doing this. Yes, your partner is doing that.
Did you watch this Pulled Over for 65 and 70?
I did not. Let's pull it up.
Pull it up, man. Because I think it's interesting on the...
Ready Rock, I learned your real name.
On the heels of...
Monique, who was at the party, she was like, hey, how you know such and such? And I don't even remember the real name. I was like, I don't know her. She's like, oh, she had on this. I was like, oh, Ready Rock.
Ready Rock can't be her real name. We gonna roll with Ready Rock.
Yeah, she told me, she's like, how you know? I literally don't even remember what she said. How you know? I was like, I don't know her. What are you talking about? She's at your party. She wasn't.
On that note, though, Reddy, I got to holler at you, too, man. I had an interesting meeting today that you might be able to get some value out of. You ready?
Yep.
You stopped there, you're driving 65 and you know, speed limit 70. I'm just wondering what's wrong with me.
Wow.
You okay?
Run that
Other
back, bro.
than-
Just run it back.
I mean, you okay?
Are you fucking kidding me?
You stopped there. You were driving 65, and you know, speed limit 70. I'm just wondering what's wrong. I mean, you okay?
Other than
I mean, you okay? I mean, you ain't
traveling 5 miles below the speed limit.
Yes,
a
sir.
reason.
I'm just checking on you. That's all I'm doing. Okay.
Yes, sir.
You good?
I'm great.
Awesome.
How are you?
I'm doing
So now everybody
better
has to
than I
drive
deserve.
exactly
You
70.
know? You got the paperwork for the vehicle?
It's actually a rental car. The only paperwork that I have is via email.
It's what?
A rental car.
But what were you saying about something? You said something right after that.
The only paperwork they give you is via email.
Okay. You pull it up digitally?
I can.
Okay. How long you got it for?
Until I decide to take it back.
Oh, okay. They don't have like a scheduled day to return it?
They do, but unfortunately for my schedule right now, I'm not able to.
You still live in Clayton?
I do.
Okay. What's Pungo Court off of?
It's off of 7. All right, there you go. It was back yesterday at 2:30.
Okay. Where are you coming from now?
Man, in my motherfucking business.
Where am I coming from?
Yes, sir.
Goldsboro.
Goldsboro. Is that where the office is?
I'm trying to understand what's the relation.
Do what?
I'm trying to understand the relation to the traffic stop.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out where you're coming from, where you're going.
Why? Fuck
I have
you!
to identify where I'm traveling to and from during the traffic
All right,
stop.
hang tight here just a minute, buddy.
I don't understand. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
I'm a grown ass man. You don't stop me and ask me where the fuck I'm going, where I've been. Fuck you.
I gotta identify to you where I'm going to and coming from. Like, that don't make sense, bro. Word, this man wrote me a ticket, bro. Like, what could you possibly have wrote me a ticket for? Yes, sir.
Videos there. This here's a warning, okay? No court date, no fine, nothing like that. You can throw this paper away when you get to the house. Ain't nothing to really worry about.
Warning
all right?
for what?
Okay, what was the warning for?
All right. Have a good day, all
What
right?
was the warning for, sir?
Right.
He didn't even say what a warning been for, bro.
Don't do that though, bro.
Excuse me, sir.
You overdoing it at this point. Don't do that though, fam.
I'm trying to understand what the warning is for.
It's for traveling under the speed limit, okay?
What, how
You were
fast
traveling.
did you say?
What you say is kind of suspicious to travel under the speed limit when the speed limit is 70.
No, if I go 71, you'll pull me over for that.
Sir, I'm not.
Everybody got to go exactly 70.
I'm not going to argue. I got stuff to do, okay?
I
Have a good day.
did too when you stopped me, so I'm trying to understand. I'm trying
have
to,
a good
so I don't
morning.
make the same infraction. I'm trying to understand it.
Continue on with your day. You stopped there. You were driving 65, and you.
Bruh. I'm not gonna handle that well ever. I'm always gonna be like, nigga, fuck you. I'm coming from where I'm coming from, and I'm going where I'm going. What the fuck are you doing? Like that's how I respond to that. Like I hate these fucking people, G. Now after the shit was gone, dude walked away. I would not have got out the car and walked back to his car. I wouldn't have done that. But all that shit at the car, I'm pissed. Fuck you. What are you saying? I'm doing 65 in the 70, so you stop me for that? I got it. Everybody out here has to go 70 miles per hour because it's a speed limit, which means at 71, I'm breaking the law. Then you're going to put me over for that. But I can't go under it either. Every car out here is going 70 exactly. What the fuck is wrong with you, man?
But it ain't about 70. It ain't about 65.
Clearly.
It's about who's in control here. When the brother started to question him, he said, man, I got shit to do. Get the fuck on. I'm through with harassing you. Because this all this was I felt like fucking harassing.
Because I can.
Because I can.
I'm asking you that because I can.
But see, this is an example of something that went right in essence. It sounds insane, but this went right.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Dante Wright went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the same kind of bullshit. I pulled you over because of goddamn.
Because I can.
Because I can.
Mhm.
It's a training segment. So who we gonna train on? These young niggas.
Of course.
Because who's gonna save them?
Nobody.
Who's there to help them?
They have no value.
Right. And can't nobody protect them.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can protect them. Because even the construct that we had, where he had this concept about just make it home and we'll fight this situation in the courts.
I don't got it.
You know, black people say that shit
I don't got
their
it.
black children because they feel like that's the best way to get them home. And I fully understand fear and how fear works, and I get it. You want your child to get home. But you can't fight in the court either, goddammit. Let's
Right.
keep it above.
You ain't got no power in there either.
You don't have no money.
You got less power in the court than you got in this one-on-one altercation with this cop.
You don't have no money. Ask anybody that you know that's been to the joint. And ask them about how many motherfuckers are sitting up in counties for years because
with
they can't
$300
afford a
bills.
bond for $300. We are a sub-segment of the society.
Yeah.
And we have an aspirational idea about ourselves that aligns with the most wealthiest, powerful motherfuckers here. It's oxymoronic, man. I just think it was interesting that they pulled the dude over for 60. It just shows what they did to Dante Wright. That's exactly what they did to him. I don't need justification. to
I would
fuck
double
with
say
you.
he was looking for his slave papers to be in order.
That's
they
real
were.
shit.
Nothing to say. Slave didn't run.
That's real shit.
Yeah.
It's exemplary.
Hey, boy, come here.
Right? And you're going to keep
Where your
a-
papers?
You're going to keep being a boy until you become a man.
That's it.
Right? And this is
And then when you show up as a man, he like, I don't want to deal with a man.
But it's going to be that.
Right.
It's going to have to be that. You know, there is going to be some level of casualties attached to that, but there's no other recourse. There is no other recourse. Right? A Skittle bag. I'm in my own house on my own couch. You walked into my house and shot the shit out of me because I was in my house.
Right.
There is no recourse. There is no appealing to their sense of humanity. That just not real.
Sister sitting on the couch with her nephew playing video games. You don't even come in. You shoot through my fucking window.
Through the window.
Okay?
Right? Shoot through the window. Or you undereducate my child.
Yeah.
Or you
that part.
feed me
Or you
hypertension.
poisoning me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to separate ourselves.
You gotta
There's no way
understand,
around
like
it,
you
bro.
not like getting deeper into their shit is not a place you're gonna find health. You can't be a good enough nigga. Understand that.
You can't.
Understand that. And so Dante Wright's auntie needs to understand that. You can't be a good enough nigga. I don't care what kind of home you come from. Can't be a good enough nigga.
And I think we got to fully grasp and understand what's happening now, right? It's very similar to when the North and the South decided to go to civil war.
Yeah.
Right? At that time, the South had a stranglehold on slavery, i.e. had a stranglehold on power.
Yes. Capital.
Right? Now, today, when you see the shit that happened on January 6th, when them white folks stormed the Capitol building, those were mostly Southern white folks.
Absolutely.
Because they've been left out of the new economic paradigm. Right? And what's happening, we're seeing a play for power happening in our faces, right? As we move into the state of AI and opportunities are no longer in existence, right? That wealth and that wealth transfer and that wealth disparity is going to cause, who becomes the police? Those are those Southern folks. So he's just thinking about that. Well, I don't know what kind of car the brother was in, but it was a rental. Looked like a big truck. You know, 9 times out of 10, you know, you see the brother in the truck. Why you got a better car than me? To our Double's point, where's your slave papers, nigga? How are you living better than me? Right? The police are just Caesar's army, and it's just our time.
That's it, man.
But we have to respond in a different kind of way, or we will be pushed into annihilation of the brute. With AI, they don't need you as a labor force anymore.
Yeah.
Right? They kept the slave alive. The slave became more valuable as a what do they call it? Indentured, not indentured servant. What do they call it?
Sharecroppers?
No,
You talking about that? No?
But when they had their ass,
Then indentured servers then.
it wasn't indentured servitude. It wasn't called indentured service. It was when they was locking them up, right? It was a name for it when they immediately started locking them up for not having their slave papers.
Okay.
But they became more valuable then because for the first time in their lives, slave traders didn't have to keep slaves alive. You got to think, as your property, you're a commodity.
Right.
Right? But when you can rent your ass from the goddamn
penile system, you're not a commodity.
No.
I can keep getting more of you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now your life don't have no value.
and
As
so
AI
they do.
takes over, that labor force has no value again. What are you here for? And when we see the uproar and the differences in this energy, the frequency that we're seeing now, where shit is happening on seem like a loop reel, we're moving back into that space of energy.
Yeah.
Right. So I was watching Celine the other day, and Younde, is that how you say that name? I think it's Younde, right? And she was talking about dark matter, and she was like, dark energy. We got to accept that those are real things.
They was having a good conversation with Sister Emma too.
Yeah, Sister Emma was on that conversation. They got into the Bible. They was talking about religion too. But Younde said that you got to acknowledge that dark energy is real. And it's the energy that they bring to the planet. They are a corrosive people. They are a cancer. They are a plague to the planet. At this rate, no matter what.
They are killers, fam.
At this rate, no matter what, just because of their desire for resource and capital, eventually they will rape the earth of all its value. And that was part of Younde's conversation too.
Yes.
The earth is very similar to the human body. It's self-replenishing. It's going to fix itself. It self-corrects if you just leave it the fuck alone.
Right.
But you won't leave it the fuck
But
alone.
but scientists saw that last year. Scientists were able to prove that last year just by humans sitting our dumb asses down and not fucking with the planet for a little while. It was able to self-correct itself just a bit. Not enough to overcome all the shit we've done to it. But they saw it start to self-correct just during the fucking quarantine. You know what I'm saying?
But everything we've done to it is in the name of profit. All of the death is in the name of profit. All of it is about profit and power.
Q talks about it all the time when he talks about violence and how people, denounce violence. But everything we do is violence. We commit violence to the earth like all the time. He's talking about like all the shit. You know what I'm saying? How we cut down the forest, how we fuck with the water. But even on a smaller scale and shit like that. Like violence is a part of it. And we've been so fucking violent to this earth. Like we got somewhere else to fucking go. But now what they doing? Finding somewhere else to fucking go. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy, dog. And I'm past the point of even addressing it on their end of it, right? Like, okay, how do we get them to stop doing that?
What do we do?
They aren't.
They're
Okay?
not gonna stop.
They've shown you who they are,
This
fam.
is who they've been since the inception.
Every time you show up, I'm gonna smack the fuck out you. How many times you gonna keep showing up? Okay? Every time you come through here, I'm going to smack the fuck out of you. When are you gonna come and smack me first? Or at least have a weapon to stop me from smacking you? Other than, please don't smack me. Because we real good at please don't smack me. Yeah, we are. After we done got the fuck slapped. You know what I'm saying? We real good at that. Please don't smack me. I didn't come from a broken home. Please don't smack me. I got a degree. Please don't smack me. I'm Oprah Winfrey. Ray Rock just referenced when she was over there and the lady told her she couldn't buy Hermes purse, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah. I'm Oprah though.
I'm Oprah. The lady who fucking is a cashier. Okay, I don't give a fuck what, like, the lady who's a cashier just told this fucking billionaire,
you still a nigga.
It ain't worth your time for me to pull that down off the shelf. Okay? You can't afford that. So I'll buy you. Okay?
But not really though.
Mm.
But not really though.
Mm.
And that's the statement. That's the statement.
Mm.
The shit is fake. It's a fiat currency. It has no value.
Mm.
And we've dedicated our lives to it. Ignorantly, because we really ain't even dedicated our lives to it. We've dedicated our lives to the assumption of value that it has.
To get into to their shit. Because if we dedicate our lives to actually controlling it, then we would go about that a different way.
It would be a very different
You know what I'm
conversation.
saying? It wouldn't be, okay, let me assimilate myself into your system. Let me go through your education system. Let me let you teach me everything I fucking know. Then let me come work for you as hard as I can for the next 40 years, then retire, and then I got money now. No, the fuck? What?
Don't work that way.
If you really wanted it, you'd go about that a different way. Very different way. You know what I'm saying? You would go about it very similarly to the way they've gone about it. If that's what you really wanted.
Yeah.
If that's what you find value in. I say fuck the shit. You know what I'm saying? Get the resources that we need, use our shit, do our shit. But we definitely can't keep going about it the way of, please don't do this to us again. Man, please. I was listening to May's show this morning, and I see comments, and it's like, well, what's the value of us destroying our own communities? When you show me our own community, I'll give you a reasonable answer to that. Until then, I don't even. You pissed me off by asking that question. To be honest with you. Yeah. Like
I saw some of it, and there was one of the polls. I think he said the question of the day or something was like, "Will Chicago go up?" And even in the context of how that conversation is presented, it's presented as if it's a negative. Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And they like, please protect these white folks shit. Yeah,
but even,
our communities. Which one is ours?
Even
fam?
like the video of the shorty shooting the dice with the guns in the room.
Yeah.
Right? It's all the same shit, right? The narrative that we've identified or the narrative that we tapped into kind of villainizes every one of our actions. There is no recourse that you can have as a black man or a black woman that is suitable for all black people. There isn't. Right?
No.
You too aggressive, or you too docile, or you too, because all of our
because we run the gamut of white supremacy too.
Right. Well, we run the gamut of the narratives that's been created by it, right? And we identify with them.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. So, but at the end of the day, and that's based on the same conversation of not having an identity ourselves. But what I want us to be able to start to consider, is the fact that we're walking into a shift, a paradigm shift. Right. So we got this kind of philosophy of like shit is just gonna be the way it's gonna be. You know what I mean? Like, it's like this level of faith that I don't know why we have.
Right.
You know what I mean? Those captured Africans woke up one day and thought shit was gonna be good too. And shit was never the same.
It was never gonna be okay, fam.
Right. And we're just at the end of one journey or the end of one paradigm, one systemic paradigm, and we're entering into a new one. I do not know what that new one looks like. Anybody that says they do is foolish.
Yeah, no, it's cap.
Right?
We haven't seen it.
But what we do know is that the old paradigm is done. The old way is done. Right? We got kids aspiring to be YouTube
I don't even know about that, G. Not in terms of the racial construct. I don't know that it's done.
No, it's done, and the racial construct is not done. But the capital of how capital is being ascertained is done. It's done. We're in a digital world. That's a new technology.
Sure.
It's changing, right? You're hearing conversations about crypto. You're hearing conversations about nano. You're hearing different kind of conversations, right? And the vast majority of the people have no understanding of that, i.e. the whole plane is shifting, right? I went to a meeting earlier today. I went in a meeting today about creating some marketing strategies for a school just operating here, and it's not one real classroom in that school. What the fuck I need a classroom for?
No, we don't.
Right? And the dean is telling me the whole time, like, we're trying to eliminate English and social studies and those kind of curriculums because they're useless. And truth be told, I fucking agree.
Yeah.
They're useless in regards to competing in this new paradigm.
I feel you.
They're not useless in regards to people understanding the value of their humanity or their lives.
Yes. Because for that, you need to know your history and not the bullshit they've been telling you. But
it's two conflicting energies right now operating in this plane, in my opinion. Right? It's those of us who do find value in humanity, and then it's only those of us who find value in things.
And then this need to communicate, not even a real thing in terms of learning English and shit. Nah, whatever language you fucking speak. We have a device or an app. You can put it in there. It will spit it back out in English, or it will spit it back out in Chinese, whatever language you need to be translated into. Speak it in your language. We'll spit it back out. We'll send an email across the fucking world. We send the coded shit. And we don't need to communicate like that. You know what I'm saying? That's only for motherfuckers who's trying to build some other shit. And we ain't building that no more. That's cooked. So yeah, I'm with you on that. I was only saying I'm not sure that it's changed in terms of who has the fucking resources, right? And what are the prospects for those resources ever changing hands specifically to black people?
But I think that's a fight that's taking place right now too, though. I don't think it's let me back up off that statement. I don't think it's a fight that's taking place in regards to those resources changing hands to black people. I think even at the top of the conversation, I think at the upper epsilon of the 1%, they're in a fight right now too. The new versus the old, or who's going to capture all of these new resources.
Sure. Right? But everybody's stepping on us to make sure.
They're going to step on everybody in their way or leverage everybody in their way to get complete power. It's the North and the South. The slave or the captured African conversation about the Civil War had no value until the North was getting their ass whooped.
Yeah.
Right? I can leverage you now. Now you have a value. But it's a fake. It's a perceived value as a slave. Like, hey, I can get some freedom.
Right.
Right. I fully bought into this lie, this narrative.
Big bullshit.
Right? So I'm proud to be a U.S. soldier.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But in reality,
I'm fighting for the Union.
You're not. You're being leveraged.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You should have been letting all them monkeys die and then shoot at both of them when they were asleep.
Yeah. Okay.
But again, we've been lullabied to sleep by these narratives, and her saying over and over again, this is a good boy. He comes from a good home. This is a married
It's
parents.
proof positive of that.
It's
Working
the same
well.
conversation. Neither one of these motherfuckers is on your side, whether you Democrat, Republican.
Republican.
Nobody's on your side, B.
Okay.
Nobody.
Okay. The prosecutor, the defense attorney.
They all the same motherfucker, man.
Be clear, fam.
It's all the same, man.
Be fucking clear. And until we get that shit together, we ain't really got nothing coming. We got to figure that thing out. We got to decide as a collective that this shit that we've always aspired to is the very shit that's killing us, and there's no way we're going to fucking overcome it by aspiring to it. It's just not a real fucking thing.
I'm not telling my child to comply, man. I'm not going to tell him that.
0 grade reliance.
Yeah, 0 grade reliance.
0 grade reliance.
Giving no quarters and asking.
Asking no quarters. Who the fuck are you asking where I'm going? Bitch, you see the fucking birth date on my ID? I'm grown as fuck. Ask me where I'm going or where I've been. I've been where I was at, and I'm going where I'm going. Fuck is your problem. Whatever that is, we're going to deal with it right here. But what you not finna do is fucking talk to me like I'm your fucking child. Fuck you, pussy. We got to go. Y'all make sure y'all stick here tonight on the network. New lineup tonight. Chris the Critic has moved from Fridays to Wednesdays. Chris the Critic will kick off our Wednesday night programming at 6 p.m. with Chris the Critic. It will be followed by Brian Foster with In the Zone. And then rounding out the lineup tonight is Week Ho Wednesday. Reese the Ruler and Toy will be here. So hang out with us on the network tonight. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with us today. As always, your input was valued. It was appreciated. Except when y'all was joking with me about my Titanic story. I was loving it. No, it's all good. I appreciate that too. We'll be back here when? Friday. We'll be back here Friday at 1 o'clock, man. Y'all make sure y'all spread the word that we are back to Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays at 1 o'clock. For Ron Rilla, for Toussaint Werner, my name is Herb Howard. Y'all be good to each other. Peace.
Assalamu alaikum.
WIIFTBP.
Productions.